Though women prisoners are a small minority of the total prison population in Zimbabwe, the plight of female inmates is often an ignored subject within our society. Out of curiosity, I embarked on a mission to explore what goes on in the life of a woman behind bars. Disguised as one of the inmates, I personally had an opportunity to spend a day and night at the country's biggest female rehabilitation center, Chikurubi Female Prison, situated in the capital city of Harare. The most exciting part is that I had the chance to experience what these women go through on a daily basis. In academic research, they call it the participatory approach. I tasted the food, endured the long nights, lived through the emotional trauma of the long nights, the mosquito bites, you name it. Welcome to the world of women behind bars. There are three main female prisons in Zimbabwe, which are Chikurubi, Shurugwi, and Mulondolozi, with the other facilities for women dotted around the country being sub-units of male prisons. Established in 1910 and built in 1970, Chikurubi Female Prison, with a holding capacity of 320 inmates, is a referral center for all female prisoners countrywide.
Currently, we have 187 inmates. That is as of today, but our holding capacity is 320. Chikurubi Female is a referral center for all prisons in Zimbabwe, meaning other prisons, they refer their inmates, those with a long sentence, here at Chikurubi Female. We have D section. The D section is where those inmates with the serious crimes like murder, kidnapping, carjacking, those with long sentences, and life inmates. We also house them there.
Okay, and the other ones?
The other we have C section, then other sections just for ordinary prisoners, pet cases.
And what about those with nursing mothers?
Nursing mothers, we have a cell which houses mothers and their children. Currently, as of today, we've got 21 children and 19 mothers.
Each day, female offenders come to Chikurubi Female Prison. In the making of this documentary, I happened to be one of the inmates and was taken through all the processes of admission without the officers knowing I was a journalist.
Breakfast, but however, can we say any challenge, don't hesitate. My door is open every moment.
Musungwa kana achibva kukoti anouya nerinonzi warrant. Warrant riye rinenge rakanyorwa kunzi achiri kuenda kukoti kana kuti akatotongwa. Saka ndo ratinoshanda naro. Kana akatongwa toenda nemusungwa wedu tomupfekedza uniform yeyellow. Kana akatongwa, kana asina kutongwa anopfeka yegreen. Akatongwa tobva taweka mhosva yake tomubvisira inonzi remission. Remission ye anenge anobvisirwa 1/3 remission pamhosva yake anenge abva nayo kukoti. Remission njeri rinobvisa 1/3 yemhosva yake yaanenge abva nayo kukoti, kuitira kuti kana ari panapawo haazopari mhosva kana dzekurwa nevamwe kana dzekuba kana kunesana nevamwe. Akanetsana nevamwe anodzoserwa mwedzi yaya anenge abvisirwa iye. Tabva ipapo musungwa wedu tomunyora mumabhuku edu atinawo, tomupa prison number. tomuendesa kuchipatara wonoonekwa kuti hasi kurwara here, nekuti vamwe vanouya vachirwara. Musungo wedu kana akatongwa anzi in with labor, atongonzi auye kuzoshanda ari mukati meusungo. Saka vamwe vanenge vachirwara vaya havazokwanisa kuita kana mabasa anorema. Saka tinotanga taenda naye kuchipatara oonekwa kunzi ari fit here kuti aende kunoshanda nevamwe. Vanyora kudaro tinobva tazoenda naye kuna officer in charge. Officer in charge ndo vanozoudza munhu kwekushandira, zvichienderana nekuti kuchipatara anyorwa kunzi utano hwake hwakamira sei.
These female inmates have committed various offences ranging from murder, theft, fraud, baby dumping and drugs, among others. Re-offenders and first-timers with no typical crime record are all housed at Chikurubi Female Prison. The female cells are categorized depending on the degree of the crime committed, and these range from A to D. The D class houses dangerous criminals convicted of crimes such as murder, and also the mentally challenged inmates. The cells may occupy at least 28 people, depending on the number of offenders. During my voluntary detention at the Female Rehabilitation Center, I noticed that life as a female inmate can be very unbearable. These women have complex and specific needs, mainly in the field of healthcare, sanitation, reproductive and maternal health, food, and adequate clean water that are currently not being met. We were 14 inmates in a cell, sharing one squad system toilet and a single tap with no running water. However, life for inmates housed in the D section is not easy. They rely on the bucket system as their cells do not have inside toilets. They also have no access to bathing facilities, making it a pretty difficult situation, especially during a woman's menstrual period.
Ndiri muno mu Chikurubi Female Prison tiri kusangana nematambudziko akati wandei. Ndinobvira pakuti patinogara chaipo seni pandinogara tinogara murumu yatinogara hamuna matoilets. Tinotongorara usiku hwese, tinovharirwa nguva yakareba for more than 12 hours. Saka munhu ukaitawo mudumbu imomo tinoshandisa bucket system, zvinova zvinhu zvakatiremera kuvanhukadzi. Besides zvekuti bucket system kana waita mudumbu, pane health issues anoitikawo emadzimai menstrual cycle. Kuti uchengetedzewo zvinhu zvakafanana naizvozvo uri mukati memba isina toilet, zvinhu zvinenge zvakaoma, asi tinongorarama takadaro. Mvura yepanapa haibudi mumatoilets, saka tinoshandisa zvakare bucket system. Tinotonochera mvura patepi, of which patepi pajeri pano pane tepi imwe chete yatinoti ndiyo yatinochera mvura yekutoilet, ndiyoyo zvakare inochererwa mvura yepakitchen.
Muno makaoma, nyaya yepekurara, ini ndorara mureceiving room. Munosvikira vasungwa vese, zvokuti munogona kurara muri 30-40, room yacho iri diki.
Chikafu pamwe pachona zvinenge zvakamboonakawo, dzimwe nguva tinombodyiwa muriwo nemafuta, asi kana mafuta apera tinenge tichitongodya usina mafuta.
Superintendent Blessing Doropa, who is a doctor operating at Chikurubi Female Prison, bemoaned lack of proper health infrastructure at the center, such as testing machines for diabetes, HIV and AIDS, and cancer screening. He also highlighted that due to overcrowding, improper diet, and inadequate medical facilities, chances of inmates leaving prison terminally ill are high.
The main challenges have to do with the lack of funding to provide the basic medications that we need as a prison. Currently we are lacking even basic antibiotics, amoxicillin, cloxacillin and other very simple antibiotics. However, I would like to say that in terms of HIV and TB, the medications we have, but in case of antibiotics and painkillers, we basically don't have because of lack of funding. Lack of screening services. For example, in females, we like to be able to screen for cervical cancer, breast cancer. We don't have those services to screen for those basic things. So we end up sending patients to Parerinyatwa, which at times there's no flow to do that. So those are the major challenges that we are facing health-wise. Of course, also on the food aspect of the prisoners, the diet, the nutrition is not adequate. Mainly here we have salsa and spinach and beans here and there. So the meat side of things is not okay. We here and there, of course, tinoiwana, but mainly my vegetables, the salsa and the beans. So I find the nutrition is not up to scratch. This was not anemia, malnutrition, because my dietary in terms of sanitation, basically our toilets are not enough for them, and the detergents to clean the toilets are not inadequate. In terms of sanitary pads, yes, we are being supported by donors. So that side, I think we are covered. The infrastructure is not very favorable. The toilets, some cells have toilets inside, some they don't have. And of course, the numbers also come into play. We have huge numbers here than that was designed for the prison. So we are finding it difficult because of overcrowding. So, madzimai vanoda kuti vanga vashandisa zvinhu zvakachena and zvisina overcrowdwa. So that's the other challenge. In terms of infrastructure, it's not adequate for the numbers that we are having because there is increase in numbers of prisoners compared to when the prison was constructed. We have cases of tuberculosis here and there which are due to overcrowding, as it were. We also have malnutrition that I've mentioned before because of our dietary constraints. Especially our HIV patients. But because they are not having adequate diet, malnutrition. So yeah, it's possible. We are right then also.
In Zimbabwe, nursing mothers are allowed to bring their breastfeeding children and live with them in prison. Once the child reaches 3 years, the prison and correctional services may hand over the child to relatives or friends of the family able and willing to maintain the child. Whenever this is not an option, the child is to be handed over to the social welfare.
As females, there are a lot of things they need on their day-to-day living. For instance, as I said, we've got pregnant mothers, we've got children, we've got old people. For children, we are approaching winter right now. If we can get winter clothes, and for pregnant mothers, if we can get preparation clothes for the unborn babies, that will be great for us here. And also food for children. I would love to see children here enjoying the same as those from outside.
Life here is not rosy, let alone for nursing mothers. Both women with childcare duties and the children incarcerated with their mothers have to endure life without several essentials. Talk of lack of baby feed and dietary requirements for a healthy child. Diapers, baby clothing, proper shelter, and just that conducive playing space. The women and children normally depend on well-wishers who come in on sporadic moments to donate goodies.
Pandakasungwa I realized kuti muno prison is a society on its own inotorarama vanhu zvakafanana nekuti mai nemwana wavo unosungwa une mwana kana kuti wakazvitakura wobatsirwa mwana uri munomu. Saka society inoda kuti ionekwewo nekuti pane machallenges aripo mukurarama urimbo nemwana sezvo uri munhu unenge wakanzi enda unopikira mhosva yako. Mwana
anotsaurwa pana amai kuti mai vawane kuita basa pano paprison. Saka machallenges atinosangana nawo kazhinji kana tine vana totangira kuti kuchikafu chavanodya vana vanowana 3 meals pazuva dzinoringana nemwana, asi pa3 meals idzodzo kana usina anokupa kuti uwane dovi kana pasina madhona anenge auya naro shuga yekuti uise muporiji rawapiwa makuseni rinobikwa pano, zvinogona kukuomera zvizhinji. Poita kuti kana usinawo vanobva kumba vanokuvigira sipo chaiyo yekuti uwachire mwana yeye ashambidzike, zvinova zvinhu zvakaoma zvikuru. Tozoti nenyaya yekuenda kumabasa kwatiri kutaura kuti tinenge taenda kumabasa, nguva yachona tinoenda na8 tichidzoka na3 manheru. Saka ipapapo panenge pachida kuti kubatsirikane vana nemapambazi, sezvo maona kuti vana vanosarana nagogo. Manepi achona time yekuti uwawache inenge iri shoma, ende dzimwe nguva manepi achona futi panenge pasitorina akaringana kana pasina vanenge vauya nawo kuzopawo. Kozoti vachisara muno mavanotambirana nagogo, zvamuri kuona makoti beds avo anoda kuti avewo ekuti mwana kana akarara zvino anorarawo zvakanaka, anoda kuti avandudzikewo kuse zvamuri kuona amwe acho ayakagadzirwa netsanga kutodambuka, munodawo mametress mukati, munodawo mashitsi akanaka ekuti vana sezvo murimo mavanospenda most of their time vari munesari imomo. Iniseni ndinenge ndichisona muswere wese wezuva, handina nguva yekuti ndikwanise kuuya kuti ndizotamba nemwana. Saka anenge angori muno, ndo mutori mumba make maachaswera muswere wese wezuva. Saka munoda kuti munge makadini, makashambidzikawo, makagadzirwa zvakanaka. Kozoti tinosangana nekuti kune mosquito inoruma, hatina kana repellent kana mosquito net matinorara umu. Vana vanorumwa zvikuru. Saka tatichiti kana pakawanikwa kuti pawanikwe kuti pangaitwe sei either mosquito net kana kuti pawanikwe marepellents ekuti tikwanise kuzora vana, nekuti vanorumwa zvakanyanyisisa nemosquito. Kozoti mishonga yevana, izvezvi mwana wangu wandakaberekawo nhasi manti haana kuenda kuchikoro nekuti ari kukosora. Of course mimwe mishonga zvayo yemabasics inenge iri available, but masyrups ekuti tipe vana arwara neflu unototsvagirwa amoxicillin, ndokunge iripo yevanhu vakuru odimburirwa ita sei, hapana syrup yacho. Kana kuri kuti arwara nemanyoka, hapana metro yacho syrup yekuti anwe. Kana pasinawo yevakuru yekuti adimburirwe, zvinenge zvichitotora kunetsa. Saka pakaonekwawo kuti paprovidwe medication yevana, since tine chipatara chedu chiri pano, chivewo chipatara chinoonekwa kunzi ichi chipatara chine society iri kurarama ichidhipenda pachipatara ichochi, medication yoprovidwa yakadini, yakakwana, yakaringana nevana.
Public Relations Officer, ZPCS Assistant Commissioner Elizabeth Banda Karinda explains, traditionally, prisons were constructed particularly with the needs of male prisoners in mind, who are the majority of inmates. However, a small proportion of women offenders are admitted to these prisons and forced to adapt to the same conditions as men, regardless of their specific needs.
The kind of infrastructure that we have here was made during the colonial era, and it was made as a detention place. And a sense of detention still hangs over this particular place, in that it was meant for punishment. So the current female inmate that we have here is still experiencing that kind of punishment because of the kind of infrastructure that was made during the colonial era. And the main things to note is that some of the cells have toilets within them and others don't. Apart from just having toilets in them, they are still squat toilets up to today. For women, I for one would advocate for an open prison for women, because sprucing this particular place would mean a lot of resources being put in. The best way for me would be to have a totally different place for them that is made totally as an open prison. We already have Konmara open prison for males, but we don't have anything for the women.
of the three main prisons that we have across the country, that is Chikurubi Female Prison, Chikurubi Female Prison, and Mlondolozi. Those are our three main institutions for women. They are in the same kind of state as Chikurubi Female Prison. Very little has been done by the organization for the children, in the sense that they have a nursery school, so that as far as possible we try and make sure that they are spending the day just like any other child out there. But when it comes to sleeping quarters, they still have to join their mothers in the cells, which is really unfortunate. We have been working closely with social welfare so that we take them to children's homes, but looking at the economic situation and the numbers that they have within the children's homes, we find ourselves stuck with those children. Our first port of call before we even take them to children's home would be the relatives of the inmates, but unfortunately very few relatives own up to come and get the children, because some of the inmates will have committed crimes within the families, hence it will be difficult for them to take those children.
At least 1.3 million people are living with mental illness in Zimbabwe, according to the Ministry of Health and Childcare, and the mental health services, including drugs and staff, is not adequate to cater for the growing number of patients. Chikurubi Female Prison also has a section of mental health inmates. Some of the inmates have committed serious offenses such as murder, and Esther is one of them.
Kwedu ndobva kwachivhuna kwana gutu kwana makanga kwanzo kwakatandawo kati kwachivhuna saka toshandisa masanemo ekuti aonezve saka mai vangu variko vapangu vakashayika wandinzwa ndichida ziradhiya zvikanzi haiwa ngotariisa nguva nokuti zvimwe pamwemhe po ichauya asi ramba uchingopenya kunge zuva anoziva kuti munhu achauya ndakawachozima zvingoshaina
Solitary confinement for female mental health patients is not the best answer, as this can trigger more complex illness in the event of limited supply of medication. They instead need their families and community support, a privilege that normally vanishes once someone is incarcerated.
Before they become detained mental patients, they are women first, and they are equally affected just like any other inmate. What worsens their situation is the drug situation within the prison setup. Although we were getting a lot of support from MSF, but nowadays it is a bit low, and our drug situation is completely the stocks have actually dwindled, such that we are having challenges along those lines. What we would a situation that we would welcome is a situation where the tribunal board sits and then these people are released. But it has been quite a long time before these tribunals have said for them to be released. Some of them have actually recovered very well, such that they would go before a board, examined, and if they pass and then their relatives are able to come in and take them, then for us it will be a good move.
In my interaction with my fellow inmates, I picked that there were a couple of prohibited immigrants. Most of them were arrested by the immigration department due to lack of proper documentation that allows them to reside in the country. Strikingly said was the case of a woman from DRC who has been on remand for more than 5 months. She claimed she was arrested together with her husband, who is also housed at Chikurubi Maximum Prison, and their 3-year-old child who lives with her in prison. Armed with this information, I inquired to understand why and how that a prohibited immigrant would spend such a long time on remand without being deported.
We are working with the immigration people so that we can have their papers sorted out so that they can be deported. But what's slowing us is the immigration, because we don't have much control over the prohibited immigrants. We rely mostly on the immigration staff and the embassies where these people come from, because the embassies have to confirm that this particular individual is from their country, and then they work hand in hand with immigration to be able to get them off and deported to them, because those people really pose a lot of problems, because the food that they expect us to give them we cannot afford, because their staple diet is different from ours. Apart from that, the language aspect is also a challenge, although as an organization we are working on sending our officers to learn different languages. For now, in instances where we don't have anyone assisting us, it becomes a very serious problem.
In the thickness of my inquiry, I had the opportunity to talk to a couple who came from South Africa just to facilitate the release of their daughter Dineo, who was detained at Chikurubi Female Prison.
We are here to come and negotiate for the release of our daughter Dineo, now who was arrested on account of illegally crossing the border. Yes, essentially that is what we are here for. They are very helpful, they are very positive, and we want to say thank you a million times and more. Yeah, they took care of our daughter. Very humane, very helpful, like I said initially. We are running short of words to say thank you.
I feel very happy to find our daughter, and I thank them, those people in the prison. They did a very great job, and then I also thank God.
The families of inmates are allowed to visit and bring groceries to their relatives. We managed to speak to some relatives, including spouses of female inmates.
4 years back. Abana bavanenge vachingokumbira chikafu ndo chaanenge achitifonera achikumbira drinki. Nasovarayira kuti mubhadhare sadza tigopota ndichidyawo masikati.
Zvafanira kimoli gogo vangu ine zvane, this is the 13th year yake ari mukati. Samunhu anenge achingotarisirwa ari panze nesuwo family vareti zvavo, as long as isu hama dzacho tichingoyawo nechikafu. Kuti dzimwe nguva muriwo unenge usinawo mafuta, chikafu chacho chinenge chisiriwo balanced diet, sanike chatinochiwana isu vanhu vanenge vari panze. Saka kazhinji vanenge vachirikwesta kuti tivaigirewo nyama, tivaigire mafutsu.
Ndona mudzimai wangu akasunga, ndanga uzomuonawo uchimupawo chikafu kuti timuvaraidzawo kuti asaramba achifunga zvakanyanya zvemadhezi ake kuti ava kusvikawo, tichitarisirawo kuti pamwe anogona kubuda sechimunhu. Nyaya yake haisi kunzwisisika, ende inyaya yanga yakapera kare. Kumulindi zvanga totaura kuti nyaya yedu yapera, but ashambisika titumira warrant of arrest kubva kuti after kuti kwacho aenda anzi bhadharai fine, ndobva tabhadhara fine yekuzvidza dare yekusauya kuti kwakaita, but takazishambisika tonzi uchinzi in custody food, but iye munhu abhadhara fine $20. Saka zvinhu zvavangotoshungurudza kuti vingidza kuti tizive kuti chii kumatongerwo acho nyaya yei. Apa kustation kwacho Burundi police station tatabhadhara fine, vanga withdraw nyaya futi tabhadhara $15 fine futi tikati nyaya yapera. Saka ndozvinova zvinhu zvakamushaisa simba rokuti aramba achidzoka koti bcause nyaya yedu yadi yapera. But officer, toona kuti officer ndo vanenge vasina kuzoramba achifambira nyaya dzemadhoketi kuti adi apera withdraw. Ndotomira ndotoadvise varume vese kuti haidambudziko renamwera bcause chiriko kuno kwachitoona kuti vanenge vakachengetedza kuonanga ari kuno vanhukadzi chete panogona kuzava nezvimwe zvatinogona kufungirawo kuti chichi hazi ndinomumirira kusvika adzoka chete, handina zvimwe zvandinoita. Chokwadi
pamafuta ekuzora apa ndo pandingonawo pandangotaura kuti devangobvumidzwa kuti kana munhu achifariro kalosheni wokaanofarira angowanikawo nekuita se nokuti munhu apiwe. Ndinotangonzwa kuti vanongoda Vaseline original chete.
There was, however, a touching story of a grieved mother who until now has not yet come to terms with the offense committed by a daughter who murdered her 2 children and dumped them in a dam. The daughter is now being treated as a mental health patient, while this is not the case.
Pokutanga zvakandiremera ndakatoita sendoda kupenga, asi zvinondawo kuzvigamuchira hangu zvishoma nezvishoma. asi zvinhu izvi zvinondiremera. Dai Judy uyu akasungwa navanhu vake vakaenda navo kundokanda vana mumvura vese vari pano vari vese vachinzi vese vanopenga vari pano ndaizvigamuchira. Naizvozvo ini handisi kuzvigamuchira nemazvo nokuti zvinondiremera nanhasi. Iye zvino wakushandira gore rechi3 asati atongwa achingomwa mapirizi iwawo. Dai vakangorega vakati Judy hapengi akangotongwa akanzikana life in jail chizoti mwana wangu akuri kutongegwa mhosva yake zvinhu zvakanaka. Chere iri mari yacho yebhazi ndinoiwanepi? Nguva nenguva uyai kuno musaine bepa romwana. Ina handishandi ndakagara kumusha. Kuti ndirarame ndienda torima mabura ndatengesa mabura. Saka ini upenyu hwangu hwakatoparara hwakapera.
The tales told about life in prison by those enjoying freedom outside these walls often allege to the notion that female inmates do engage in relationships between themselves. While this could not be scientifically proven, considering the limited time I spent incarcerated, what I gathered though is that at Chikurubi, the female prisoners involve themselves with male inmates, Shirichena, in actual love relationships.
Kazhinji kachona munenge mutozivana. Yes, munenge mutozivana vanhu vozoita ma relationships.
Sazvinezvifamba sei manje vanenge vachiona nawo?
Pakaipa ipapo. Pakaipa. Handinyatsiziva zvangu but ndinongoonawo kuti vanhu vanenge vari muma-relationships.
Saka communication zvinofamba sei pacommunication apa?
Pangoitwa zvetutamba izvozvi.
Tsamba dzadzo dzinenge dzichifambiswa nani?
Ipapa handizivi.
Remember, we are talking about people. And considering the aspect that they live in different quarters, female inmates live in their own institutions and male inmates live in their own institutions. But because of the correctional aspect that we have, there are functions that we hold, for example, the Prisons Day and other competitions that are held amongst inmates. During these functions, there is a possibility that they meet, talk to each other. At times it's love at first sight, and they have a common denominator of being inmates. Hence, they end up communicating using letters and other forms of communication. It is not allowed at all. What we guard against is physical interaction. Hence, the need for us to have female institutions on their own and male institutions on their own. Relationships amongst people will develop in any given way. We have secret admirers. We have people who fall in love at first sight, but without any physical contact. In these instances, that's the kind of situation that we face.
At the time of filming this documentary, newspaper headlines were hinting the possibility of a presidential pardon coming soon. Inside the cells, the presidential amnesty was the most topical issue as inmates called on Faith to have their names on the list of those who were to be released. It's a moment that provided me with a serious introspection into life.
Kunzwa kufara nekuti makore anga ndakapuwa akawandisa. Saka ndikunzwa kufara kuti 15 years. Saka ndikunzwa kufara zvakanyanyisa.
Mhosva yamanga makapomerwa ndechi?
Drugs.
Chishuviro changu kusunungurwa musungwa uno. Kuti ndinoda kuregererwawo kuti ndisangane nevana vangu ndichiri mupenyu.
I am also appealing to the government to assist us when you said food. We give them what we can afford. But we are lucky here that sometimes we get assistance from the churches. Also, the issue of infrastructure, yes, as you can see, the buildings are so old. I don't know when they were last painted. Even the roof you can see, very old. And they are not pleasing at all. And I think if the government can assist us in the painting, since it is a female institution.
Everybody makes mistakes, and yes, committing a crime is a lot bigger than a minor mistake. However, stripping inmates of every basic right pose a serious risk of reoffense and compromise the likelihood of an inmate rehabilitating and rejoining society as a normal citizen. Food, medication, maternal health needs, proper infrastructure for women offenders, adequate clean water supply, and children's basic needs require urgent redress at Chikurubi Female Prison.